This presentation is actually a class project. We have a class called the Introduction to Geospatial Science. In this class, the students never had the experience with the geospatial before. At the end of the semester, I required people do a project. The project is about 3 weeks. The purpose of this project requirement is that I want to assess how students actually learned how to collect the geospatial data, how do they create the good quality of the map. I also wanted them to understand the significance of the imagery and also enforce their ArcGIS Pro skills. Before this project, I asked each individual students to propose in what they wanted to do with the project. And then they submitted their proposal, and I could put them together, ask them to discuss and debating in the class. Eventually, whole class agreed that they will do a project with the glaciers in Glacier National Park. After they made the decision, and I tried to find some project available, people already done with that. Luckily, I find the NASA Earth Observatory website. I find that they actually did a similar project before, which is compare the glaciers in the 1984 and the year 2015. So I expect the students that can do the similar research after the project. The second step is to collect the Glacier National Park data. So students actually are required to individually to look at the different data, and then whole class put the data together. I wanted them to learn that not all data are same. For example, in this case, some people collected a 64-meter DEM data. Some people picked up a 10-meter DEM data. So we discussed that, which one probably would be better for the project. Of course, 10-meter would be much better. Next step, they made the map for the Glacier National Park. They need to make the map for whole park, and they need to apply the skills they learned before this project. In this example, you can see that they used the DEM and also the hell shading to make the map. Some people also made the glacier map based on the data they collect. On the left side, those are all the glaciers in the park. On the right side, you can see that there are some large glaciers. Specifically, they're concentrated in the middle of the park and northwest of the park. Some people also made the 3D maps, and this is a 3D map of the Blackfoot, which is the largest glacier in the Glacier National Park. Next step that did is that need to find the available Landsat images from USGS Earth Explorer website. So this is a list that find from that website. They checked all those the specific date, and eventually they find that a lot of the images actually are cloudy. So they find those 4 are actually best for this project. And of course, all the data are in the summer season because it's the best time to view the glaciers. Then they put the images into the ArcGIS Pro, and they clipped the satellite imagery into the park here. On the left side, that's 1986 imagery. On the right side, this is 2020 imagery here. And then they look at the different band combinations techniques in the ArcGIS Pro. So in the ArcGIS Pro now, they have already set band combinations. There are natural color, there are color infrared, and there are land use band combination. But the best tool that I think best for the project is a land-water interface and also the vegetation analysis. So I think that those two are best to study the glaciers here. Then they're concentrated in the specific glaciers at different years here. This is from the middle of the national park. The largest glaciers is called Blackfoot, and there are also some like Jackson, which is the sixth largest one. So they look at those area and then compare the images at the different years. So for example, you can see that this is 1986, 1993, 2006, and 2020. You can see that from 1986 to 1993, the size actually are reduced. And in 1993 to 2006, size also reduced. But from 2006 to 2020, you can see that size actually is increased. The second area that look at is northwest corner of the national park. And there are two big glaciers in the area. So this is the result. So you can see that very similar to the early one. And you can, this is rainbow glaciers. You can see that it reduced the size between 1986 and 1993. And it further reduced from 1993 to 2006. But again, in the 2020, the size actually is increased. From this project, students really learned the importance of the images in the geospatial analysis. For me, I learned that the ArcGIS Pro actually is very easy to do the basic image processing, and that I didn't expect that before here. This is my presentation. Thank you for your attention here.